All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about ions and solutions. Now, you've seen this animation before, and you're going to see it yet again, all right, because it is applicable to so many parts of chemistry. So what you're seeing here is this process of solvation and dissolution where a solute is dissolving in a solvent, and you know that. So let me talk to you specifically about what is happening to that ionic compound. In this animation, you can see the water molecules coming, and they look like they're grabbing the positively charged sodiums and the negatively charged chloride ions and breaking apart that crystal lattice structure. All right. So we're going to represent this with an equation, a chemical equation for the dissociation of a compound. Now, I'm not going to use sodium chloride. I'm going to show you an example that's a little different. We're going to look at aluminum sulfate here. So when solid aluminum sulfate is placed into a solvent like water, it will dissociate, and that's exactly what you're seeing in this animation here. It will dissociate. So if you look at how this has been written, it is solid. This is considered the reactant, and the products are the anions and the anions and the cations. All right. Now also notice that subscripts have become coefficients, just like when we worked through writing net ionic equations, all right? And if I put a 1 here, all of a sudden you see that we have a relationship here that we can utilize, all right? So these equations provide a ratio, a mole ratio of the released ions to one another and to what we'll call the parent compound. In this case, it's the aluminum sulfate. And we can find mole ratios from this. We can say that in a 1 molar solution of aluminum sulfate, 1 molar being 1 mole over 1 liter, there are 2 moles of aluminum ions and 3 moles of sulfate ions. And we can use this information to do stoichiometry. Let's look at example problem number 1. Just like I've done in previous podcasts, if we're dealing with concentration and specifically molarity, I will write this down. Always write this down. Molarity is the moles divided by the liter. Okay? Moles per 1 liter. And in this problem here, it's asking what are the concentrations, i.e. molarities of the ions that are present, and we're told that we have a 3 molar solution that contains 3 moles per 1 liter. All right? Now I want you to think about this before you run off and grab your calculator. You don't even need a calculator for this problem, all right? But I do want you to write the dissociation equation at this time. So solid calcium chloride dissociates into, okay? And it dissociates into the calcium cation and the chloride anion. And notice that, again, this subscript 2 has become a coefficient in the dissociation equation. Now, to start your computation, I'm still going to lay it out for you, but I want you to see this because you don't always need, if there's a 3 molar solution, okay, and it has 3 moles, and you're being asked how many moles of the calcium ion there are, well, that's pretty simple, okay, because it's 3 moles per 1 liter, and 3 moles per 1 liter, and if we recognize that the stoichiometric ratio is a 1-to-1, then we end up with 1 mole of the calcium cation per 1 liter, and moles over liters equals molarity. So we get, hey, 3 molar solution contains 3 molars concentration of calcium cation. All right, it's that easy. Okay, let's look at the chloride anion here. So for this one, you have still the same parent compound, and in 1 mole, in this case of calcium chloride, there are 2 moles. Okay, and what are we asked for? Moles of the ions. What do we have here? We have moles per liter. So we're done here as well. It's that easy. Fairly straightforward, although they will get more complex as we work through some of these examples during this video. Okay, so one thing I want to point out before moving forward is that oftentimes in chemistry we will use brackets to indicate concentration. So in this problem, if you look at calcium chloride, if you put it in brackets, that means molarity. Okay, so you can use one or the other. You don't want to combine them both together, and I'll use a combination of them so you're very familiar with them. But calcium chloride in brackets is indicating the molarity or the concentration of that compound. Now, let's have some fun here. Aluminum chloride can be used to produce aluminum chlorohydrate, which is an active ingredient in antiperspirants. You're being asked how many chloride ions, how many, I'm gonna underline that, are in 0.025 liters of, there's those brackets, an aluminum chloride solution with concentration of 0.3 molar, which means there are 0.3 moles over 1 liter. Okay? Now, when you see ions, I hope by this point you all are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. You're thinking Lorenzo, Romano, Amadeo, Carlo, Avogadro. You will be using Avogadro's number in this computation. But let's start with the dissociation equation first. So give this one a shot. Pause the video and write the dissociation equation for aluminum chloride in water. And you should get this, where we're showing that 1 mole of the parent compound yields 1 mole of the aluminum cation and 3 moles of the chloride anion. Now we can move on to some stoichiometry and some dimensional analysis. And it's up to you where you start. You can start with the volume and use dimensional analysis. You could start with the fact that there are 0.3 moles of aluminum chloride in 1 liter of solution. Guess what? Both work. So I am using liters to start off with, to show you that it's the same thing. If we use liters, then we have liters of solution. And the connection here for your factor labeling is, oh, in 1 liter of solution, there are 0.3 moles of the aluminum chloride, okay? And moles of aluminum chloride on top, moles of aluminum chloride on bottom. And so now we're looking at the mole ratio. This is stoichiometry. In 1 mole of the parent compound, there are 3 moles of the chloride anion. And here we go. In 1 mole of the chloride anions, there are 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd chloride ions. So if you multiply everything on top and divide that quantity by everything on bottom, you're going to get 1.354 times 10 to the 22 ions, okay? Now, I have underlined the 5 here because we are limited. We're going to report this with 2 sig figs. We're always paying attention to sig figs. We're going to report this with 2. I have a 5. And so what's going to happen in this case is that 3 needs to become even. It will round up. Okay, so we're going to round that 3 up to our final answer of 1.4 times 10 to the 22nd chloride anions. All right, so I'm excited for this one. You're going to love it. And I'm even wearing my water quality shirt from the Great Allatoona Lake Cleanup. So this is the water quality report from 2017. All right. And if you flip through it, you'll get to an area that talks about the concentration of the fluoride anions. Okay. Most of you are aware that many counties and municipalities will fluorinate their water for your teeth. And so Paulding County is no exception. And in last year's report, they detected 0.95, here's the kicker, parts per million. Remember a couple podcasts ago, that's one way of expressing a concentration, parts per million. So we're going to use this information to do a solution ion problem. And this will be our example 3. Okay, so in Paulding County, fluorine is added to the water, and it's added in the form of sodium fluoride. Now, there are other compounds that can also be added to water to fluorinate it, but I'm going with sodium fluoride on this problem. In 2017, the water quality report detected 0.95 parts per million of the fluoride anion. Part A, calculate the molar concentration of fluoride. Part B, how many fluoride ions would a person ingest if they drank 2 liters? Okay, so the first part of this problem, I'm going to just walk you through, and I've said a bunch of things equal to one another because I want you to understand how you would approach a problem like this. Parts per million, okay? So 1 part solute per million parts solvent. Okay, so we're going to start with this. As I've always said, molarity. We're using it. It's moles over liters. At some point, I'm coming back to that. Okay, next we move on to our dissociation equation for sodium fluoride in water. It's a 1:1:1 mole ratio. Next, we'll address the parts per million. Okay, so follow with me here. 0.955 parts per million. Okay, that is equal to basically saying in 1 part there's a million parts. In 1 part solute there's a million parts, and that's what this says here. And so I have put grams. Okay, at low densities we can assume the density is equal to that of water, okay, where 1 milliliter weighs 1 gram. So I'm placing 1 gram over 1 million gram solution, okay? Then if you divide everything by 1,000, you get 0.01 grams of solute over 1,000 grams of solution, all right? Now, 0.001 grams is a milligram, okay? So 1,000th of a gram, that's what a milligram is, all right? And 1,000 grams is equal to 1,000 milliliters of water, assuming the density of 1.00, okay? All right, now, the final step in this is saying that 1,000 milliliters, if that is equal to 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter, all of a sudden, guys, aren't we starting to look, we're heading in the right direction here at least. We have volume in liters in the denominator. Weight in the numerator, we have mass. And we know something called molar mass. So now I hope you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel on this problem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our dimensional analysis for part A. Okay, and for that, we're going to start with this 0.95 parts per million, which is equal to 0.01 0.95 milligrams per liter. All right, we've just shown that to be true. And then once we do that, we can let the stoichiometry guide us through the land of the mole here. Okay, well, there's 1,000 milligrams in a gram, and so that's going to factor out. And here's my connection: grams on top, grams on bottom. Molar mass, 19.00 grams of fluorine and 1 mole of fluorine. And that'll factor that out. And then we're left with moles over liters. Moles over liters. Molarity. All right, plug and chug fest, multiply everything on top, divide by everything on the bottom, and you will get your final answer for part A of 5.0 times 10 to the negative fifth molar solution of ions. Now for part B, there's a couple ways you could do this. You have the molarity now, and so you could calculate moles. All right, you could go straight into calculating moles because you know that the molarity. All right, I'm going to actually go through a whole line of dimensional analysis here again, because I always want my students to see the whole process laid out. Okay, so for part B, we start off very similar. Okay, milligrams, grams, molar mass tie-in. Except here we say in 1 mole, because we already made a big deal out of this in problem number 2. All right, ions, so we're using Avogadro's number in this one. And then lastly, we have 2 liters. So don't forget we have 2 liters. So we need to throw that in at the end of our dimensional analysis, okay? And that's going to cause liters way over here to factor out over here. It's going to leave us with ions. And the problem is asking how many ions would a person ingest. And so if you multiply everything on top and take that quantity, divide by everything on the bottom, you're going to get a final answer with 2 significant figures of 6.0 times 10 to the 19th fluoride ions. Okay, so I wanted you to see something a little more complex. I wanted to use another form of concentration and show you how it could be converted into molarity, so we could then go through and use stoichiometry to solve this problem. So if you drink 2 liters of water in Paulding County, you are going to consume a lot of fluoride ions, okay? All right, so for our Georgia Standards of Excellence today, we're not only looking at our solutions and using computational thinking and the molarity, but we're also continuing to use chemical composition and stoichiometry to solve problems. Oh, and before I forget, there is a problem set that corresponds to this podcast as well, class. I'll see you in class.